We've just released a new user interface for creating field clusters on our platform, and this can be a really useful feature, particularly if you're defining cropping or drainage or other field properties on multiple fields at once. It can save you potentially hundreds of clicks, so learning to use it could be really useful. To find where it is, click on a field to open the field details panel and go to the clusters tab. When you click that, you'll get a box that pops up asking if you'd like to show the field clusters as the map fill. And clicking yes to this will make this process a lot easier. So let's go yes. Now, because with this farm I haven't actually created any field clusters yet, the map that shows is blank for the moment, but that will soon change. All we need to do is create a field cluster by clicking this plus button here. And this will take us to a little modal which asks us to define the name of our cluster. So let's say we'll call this cluster Southern Fields, and you can actually assign the fields that you already have selected to this new cluster. So this one here that's in red will be part of the Southern Fields cluster, and then you can actually shuffle the color of your new cluster that will show on the map. So that's our cluster created, and we have one field in it. If I wanted to add this field to the cluster, I would click on it as I have done and click Assign Fields. So now we have two fields in our Southern Fields cluster. Equally, if I wanted to unassign that field, just unassign. I'll assign it back. Okay, so now say let's create another cluster of these. If I go in multi-field mode now and create Northern Fields cluster, and save that, you'll see that we've got our Northern Fields cluster plotted, and we can switch between field clusters like this. And the way it's structured means that you can actually have multiple cluster memberships for your fields. So we could actually add these fields and create a new cluster called Whole Farm. And now we have our Whole Farm cluster, our Northern Fields, and our Southern Fields. So why is this useful? So say we knew that the cropping for our farm in a given year was the same across all fields. So we could then we've got all our fields selected. It's worth noting that we can deselect them and select them using these buttons here. So say I wanted to select the whole farm, select all those fields, or deselect them, just like that. So now I want to go to cropping. I've got all my fields selected. I'm going to update the map fill, and I'm going to say that all these crops for this year are buckwheat. And then we can assign all fields the same cropping information with a single click, as opposed to having to do it 5 times in this case. And the same can be said for, if we go back to clusters, show them as the map fill, say I want to select my Southern Fields this time, and select those, then go to drainage, and I can say all of those fields are drained, and there we go. So it's not particularly useful in this case of a very small farm, but once you're dealing with lots of fields, it quickly becomes a feature that can save you a lot of time when using the platform. So hopefully you find it useful. Cheers.